the foot of Mount Fuji, right where the road comes to an end, a forest begins. 30 square kilometers of trees, so densely tangled together that it feels like there's no way through them. It's so dense that sound disappears into it. And it's so quiet, you can hear your own heartbeat. The Japanese call it Jukai, the Sea of Trees, but the rest of the world knows it by a different name.
This is gonna be a great adventure. Yeah, man, finally some peace and quiet.
In 2003 alone, 105 bodies were discovered inside this forest. Over the next 20 minutes, we're going deep into a place that very few people have ever returned from to tell its story. Aokigahara Forest.
What the hell is that sound? Honey, this is a haunted house! Relax, man, it's just birds.
The year was 864 AD. Mount Fuji erupted for the last time. An eruption that lasted for 6 straight months. Rivers of lava poured down the mountainside, burying entire villages and covering the land beneath a thick layer of volcanic rock. When it was finally over, it looked as if nothing had survived. But nature is remarkably patient. Over the next 1,000 years, seeds found life in the cracks of that volcanic stone. Instead of growing deep into the soil, their roots spread across the surface of the hardened lava. Slowly, the trees became intertwined, their branches locked together, and over the centuries, they formed a forest unlike almost any other on Earth.
This looks good. Yeah, it's good.
The porous volcanic rock beneath your feet absorbs almost every sound. Even sunlight struggles to break through the dense canopy above. And the roots twisting across the forest floor look less like the roots of trees and more like the fingers of something unknown. That's why, for centuries, the people of Japan shared the same feeling whenever they entered this forest, that this was the place where the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead began.
No signal.
Don't you think this place is a bit strange?
Enjoy it here, man. Everything is silent and peaceful. Ah, finally. What a quiet, cozy spot.
In Japanese folklore, there are spirits known as yurei, the souls of people who died consumed by anger, grief, or regret, and never found peace. According to traditional Shinto beliefs, the more painful or unjust a person's death, the more restless and more dangerous their spirit becomes. And many believe that Aokigahara is where those spirits still remain. But the legends are only one part of this forest's darker story. There's another tale, one rooted in history. It's known as ubasute. According to the story, during times of severe famine and extreme poverty, some families would take their elderly or gravely ill relatives to remote places and leave them there. One of the places most often linked to this legend is Aokigahara. The belief that this forest became a refuge for abandoned souls has been passed down from one generation to the next.
This forest is really quiet.
Something is moving outside.
You're imagining things.
Where are the car keys? In the tent. Oh no, no. Damn it!
Before we go any further, if you're the kind of person who gets drawn into stories like this, if unsolved cases, cold files, and real crimes keep you up at night, then this channel was made for you. Every week, a new case. Every week, the full story. Hit subscribe right now. The button is right below this video. Don't miss what's coming next. Now, let's get back to it. The year was 1961. A Japanese author named Seicho Matsumoto published a novel called Tar of Waves. The story follows a beautiful woman, broken by life, who travels into Aokigahara forest to end it. The novel became a massive success, and for the first time, many people across Japan began to see this forest in a very different way, as a place where you could simply disappear. But that wasn't the only book to leave its mark on Aokigahara. In 1993, author Wataru Tsurumi published a controversial book titled The Complete Manual of Suicide. One chapter was devoted entirely to Aokigahara, describing it as the ideal place to disappear. In the years that followed, copies of the book were reportedly found beside the bodies of people discovered in the forest. Starting in 1970, once every year, police officers, volunteers and journalists enter this forest, not to explore it, but to search for bodies. And the numbers are as simple as they are unforgiving. In 2002, 78 bodies were recovered. In 2003, that number rose to 105, the highest figure ever recorded at the time. In 2010, 54 deaths by suicide were officially confirmed. But that same year, more than 200 other people entered the forest and later turned back. Between 2013 and 2015, more than 100 cases were officially documented. After 2004, the Japanese government stopped releasing detailed public statistics. Not because the numbers were falling, but because they were continuing to rise. At the entrance to the forest, there's a sign. Written in Japanese, it reads, "Your life is a precious gift from your parents. Please think of your family. Don't face this decision alone." The moment you step off the main trail, everything changes. The forest swallows you whole. The colored ribbons tied to the trees are there for one reason: to help people find their way back. Some were left behind by search and rescue teams, others by people who weren't sure if they would ever return. In the parts of the forest where most searches take place, signs of human presence are everywhere. Abandoned tents, clothes that no one came back for, backpacks with letters still inside. Some of those letters were finished, others end in the middle of a sentence, and sometimes just a book, left open to a single page. The volcanic ground beneath your feet absorbs almost every sound, even the sound of your own footsteps. But not everything you've heard about this forest is entirely true. One of the most common myths is that compasses stop working inside Aokigahara. The reality is a little different. The volcanic rock beneath the forest contains large amounts of iron. So, if you place a compass directly on the ground, its needle may drift slightly. But held in your hand, it works almost exactly as it should. There's another popular belief that this forest is completely devoid of wildlife. But that's not true either. Asian black bears live here. So do Japanese deer, red foxes, and wild boars. Aokigahara isn't a dead forest. In fact, it's full of life. It simply has a kind of silence that everything living here has learned to exist with. For years, a Japanese musician has stood near the entrance to this forest, playing his guitar. His name is Kiyoshi Watanabe. His reason is simple. If someone is about to walk into the forest, maybe they'll stop for just a moment. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe they'll turn back.
Come on! Start, damn it! Come on! Come on!
Since 2009, Yamanashi Prefecture has stationed specially trained staff around the forest. Their job is to speak with people who seem distressed or whose behavior raises concern. And sometimes, those conversations have changed the course of a person's life. Thousands of interventions, hundreds of tragedies. But every life that was saved came down to the same thing. One person, one moment, one decision, one life.
Shit!
Aokigahara is still a forest, a real forest, with its trees, its wildlife, its ice caves, and Mount Fuji always standing above it. Every year, thousands of people come here to experience its natural beauty, to explore the caves, and to walk among trees that are over 1,000 years old. And among them, there are others as well. People with different reasons and different paths. This forest was shaped by a volcano, but its more complicated story was written by people, and perhaps its future will be shaped by others too. The sea of trees is still there, silent, but slowly that silence is beginning to fade. Should Aokigahara be known more as a natural and historical place, or is it better to talk about it less? Write in the comments. Before you leave, subscribe for more true crime and mystery stories. And if you have a theory, a question, or a case you'd like us to cover next, leave it in the comments. I read every single one. See you in the next case.